Back to my channel. How much I spent to become a realtor in Texas, part 1. Okay, so in this video I'm pretty much going to share how much money it took for me to get into the real estate game from the jump. Okay, my name is Kay. I'm also a school teacher in the Dallas, Texas DFW area. I've been teaching for 12 years, but I decided that I wanted a second career while being an educator. Still, I do not plan on leaving education anytime soon unless unless the money that I'm making in real estate this somehow trumps the money I'm making in education, like quickly somehow in the next 6 months. And it just wouldn't make any sense for me to continue to work as a educator. Okay. However, I do plan on working in education for a little while longer. Not right now. I just feel like I can't let it go. All right. So let's talk about how much money I spent, okay, to even become a realtor. Okay. First thing first. Okay. So we're going to talk about credits, okay, or schooling, okay, how much school you have to have. So I signed up to go to Aceable Agent in 2024. It was like summertime, right? I got it on a deal. It was a sale they were having. I don't know. And I had always thought about being a realtor, but I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do it, okay? Mind you, it is 2026. So I purchased the program. It was like $100, but I'm gonna go back and find it and put it somewhere on the video on a screenshot. I think it was like 100, maybe 2, maybe 300, but I can't remember because it's been a long time ago, right? Purchase that. You go through the process. Some people say it can take you 3 months, 6 months. The problem is, it's not really a problem. It is a self-paced course, which means if you get caught up in life like I did, not really taking it serious, you just get really tired, or you have those thoughts like, well, I'm already a teacher, I don't need to really do this, whatever, right? Because you just go through the motions of whatever it was. When I was kind of back and forth, kind of, sort of. So it took me some time. I would go in, learn a little bit, pause. The courses took longer than I expected. Like, it was a lot, okay? But it took a long time for me. But if you're like, let's just say you are a housewife, you don't have much to do, and you have your schedule set up, right? And you can breeze through a lot of stuff through your day. Let's just say your kids are at school and you're at home, but you just take care of home while they're at school, but you do have enough time. You could literally sit there in between time of you cooking and doing everything you need to do before your kids get home, before you go pick them up, and spend so much time to where it could take you 3 months. Versus me, I had to work and I didn't have that leisure. Okay, so I spent that amount. After that, after you finish your courses and all of those things, you finish everything from all the modules to your end of module assessment. You do all of those things, right? Then you have 6. It's 6 modules in Aceable Agent that you go through. It teaches you everything that you need to know, okay? Which means when you're ready to take the test, which is going to be my next topic, you really shouldn't fail it because Aceable Agent is repetitive. Which means like whatever it tells you starting out in unit 1, you're going to hear that same thing going all the way through unit 6, okay? Same type of information. It kind of just flows. It repeats itself in every unit to where it just gets in your brain and you remember every single thing, okay? So then after that, you're going to go proceed. Aceable Agent are going to have you set up to where you can already go and sign up to take your assessment. Well, no. I didn't talk about how much I spent to get my finger checks, my fingerprints, okay? So after that, you then have to register to go with the realtor's trek to get your fingerprints and all that. The fingerprints, I think, cost me like $25, $30. I can't remember. You get your fingerprints, okay? That's just that can run your background to make sure that you have a clean background and that you can be a realtor. I already know if you can have a background and if you could, what those things can be on your background to be a realtor, but I think that it has to be clean, but that's that, okay? So you have your real estate course, you get your 6 certificates or so of completion, you have your background check, and then after you get those done, you then proceed to be able to go register and take the test, okay? In the state of Texas, the test is $40. All right, it is $40 to take the test. So $300 and something for the course to take it. 25, maybe 30, I can't remember, for fingerprints. Okay, so now we're at like $350. Okay, and then $40 to take the test. That's $390. Okay, so already, now mind you, this is like split. It's not like all at one time. Like, okay, let me get through the test. If it's 3 months, okay, boom, you spend $300 for 3 months, fingerprints, Then you take the test, okay? In the state of Texas, you have two tests. You have a state exam and then you have a national exam, okay? What happens is they give you both tests at one time. So first you'll take the national exam. In the state of Texas, the national exam is 85 questions. You have to get at least 65 of those questions correct out of the 85. So it's like you have to get a 70, okay? And then on the state exam, you get 50 questions. You have to get at least 28 of those questions correct in order to pass. So you still have to essentially get like close to a 70 or whatever, right? If you fail one and not the other, if you have to retake the test, you will retake only the portion that you did not pass. Does that make sense? Okay. And each time you retake the test, which in state of Texas, you only get 3 times to take it. You pay $40 each time. Okay. So the goal of rule of thumb is to try to pass it the first time. Okay. After that, let's get into the good stuff while you're here, okay? So you have your pre-requirements before you become a realtor, and then the amount you pay, and then after you take the test, get active. I am now with Keller Williams. I don't know if I told you. Okay, sorry. I am now with Keller Williams at this given time. So how much did I have to spend once I went to my second? It was like an onboarding process. They onboard you, they get you into the system. This is how much I had to pay, okay? So I'm looking at my receipt because when it comes to taxes for next year, I'm going to be ready, okay? So the first part of this, and excuse my TV. Okay, so you have MLS fees, which means it gives you options to get inside of certain things to where you can look at properties, look at like things that's listed. It gives you additional information as far as in like you can go on Zillow, but Zillow only gives you so much, okay? But Zillow doesn't give you the stuff that you need as a realtor. You can go on there and you kind of see like, oh, you can see realtor notes, what they said about viewing the property, stuff like please cut the lights off. This is the code to get into the property. Stipulations on all the different things, right, that they put in there so that you can get extra details. And other things that you also get, right? That was $189.33. The system that we use here in Texas, or where I'm at for Dallas, they essentially already went ahead and pay. It's quarterly, so they already made. I went ahead and paid for the rest of the year. Okay, so I paid this on June the 29th. No. Yeah, June the 29th is when I paid, right? So now, mind you, my license was active on June the 17th. It took two weeks for me to even get to that process. It took me a long time to even get, not interviews, but I had stuff set up, okay? So $189. The next portion for this, okay? So these fees are like my new member orientation fees that I had to pay, my local MLS fees, which, yeah. My NAR dues, because now I am considered a realtor. My Texas Realtor dues, okay? All of this, okay? Texas Realtors legal assessment dues, that was only $10. But all these fees that I have on here added up to be $422.50. This is the second receipt, okay? My third receipt of fees, mind you, this is all in one transaction, but they split the fees up so you can see. So it's an itemized bill, all right? This is called my e-key fees. I believe this is for when I'm able to, so it says I have 2 e-key fees and e-key one-time setup fee, which is $50. But I had an e-key fee of $17.42, one for $52.26, and one for $50, which brought that total of 3 lines of $125.43. Okay, so my grand total for just these fees right here set out to be, oh, I had it, where did it go? Here it is, because I made a TikTok video on this too. $737.26. Okay, mind you, that is not including how much I paid for Aceable Agent, as well as how much I paid for fingerprints, as well as how much I paid for the test. Okay, that does not include those fees. All right, if I was to add the $737 plus, I want to say I spent like $200, maybe $120. I don't know. I'm gonna say I spent over $1,200 possibly trying to even get in real estate in general to become a realtor in the state of Texas. Okay, now we're going to talk about fees that I have to pay outside of this, okay? Because there's fees, it's fee central, okay? That's why it's very important that when you get into real estate that you try to do your best on trying to get clients, whatever those clients may be. as much as possible, because you will be paying fees monthly, okay? The MLS is a quarterly fee. I'm done with paying that. I won't have to see those fees until next year in January, I believe, when it's time for me to pay my fees, which by that time, I'm praying that I have flowing customers to where pretty much you want to have certain clients where your clients are paying your fees. That's why some people get in real estate and they don't mind it, because they know, like, oh, I already got 3 transactions coming that are going to close. Out of the 3, 2 of them, one of them may not close, so but you still have 2 transactions. What do? I'm gonna go ahead and pay my fees for the year if possible and get it out of the way. So I'm not looking at this as a negative thing. This is more so as a positive thing, as well as, how can I put it? What's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word, but an influence, okay? To where it's like, okay, let me go out here. Motivation, that's the word. Motivation for me to go and get more clients, wherever those may be, to do what I need to do, right? As well as live a decent life, okay? So the other fees that you get once you join a brokerage, your brokerage. Now, not all brokerages have fees. Well, I'll take it back. You're going to have fees, but it just depends. Like if you're a iCloud or a cloud brokerage that you go to, which I wouldn't start out at that way. I think it's more so like you just pretty much don't have an office. You're just paying, I guess, fees to be with the brokerage, but not a lot. I can't remember. I don't know, because this is just going off of what I've seen. They don't really pay fees, and then they pay their brokerage probably like 20% of their salary. Honestly, but here's the trick to this, okay, is what I learned. Depending on the brokerage, if they don't have like a CRM or they don't offer certain things to you that you can use, then you can go out and get these things yourself, essentially find things cheaper. But I feel like when you join an actual brokerage, like a franchise brokerage or a brokerage like Keller Williams, you get all these other things. I feel like if you're a new realtor, you should join a brokerage like Keller Williams, because it's certain training that you will get. My training so far has been okay, I would say, because I only had probably 1 true training session. 6 training sessions. They give you 5 training sessions called Breakthrough 120. You learn, the basics of what you need to become a realtor. And then you have a coach, right, that you will have that will be with you one-on-one, and you will pretty much be coached by them weekly, right? And that person is there to assist you with things, pretty much try to push you to go further. Right now, my coach is like really not worried about me, because I've started hitting the ground running in a positive way. And I'll share things with you guys later, but that's how much I've spent so far, y'all. So my goal right now, honestly, is to make this 737 back, right, before the end of the year, or before the end of the month, or before. So today is July the 14th. I want to try to make this money back before August is over. Okay, that's my goal. And honestly, 1 transaction, whether it's a lease or buy, can do that. So that's my biggest goal right now, and I'm praying that it happens. Okay, so yeah, guys, can you believe this? 737. That is ridiculous, but I love you guys. That's it. I'm going to come back and make another video probably in a few weeks. Hopefully, I have some better news for you guys. But if you're thinking about getting in real estate, just know, and in the state of Texas, because I'm for sure it's going to be like this pretty much where you go, whatever state you're in, that's how much money, just to estimate at least a good $1,200 or less to get into the real estate game. Love you. Subscribe, follow, comment, all those good things. Talk to you later. Toodles.